Let me let this next person in. How many people have already met with someone or with their class this week? Is this y'all's first class, or has anybody met with any other
This
class?
is my second class. I took calculus yesterday.
How'd that go? Was it online or did y'all meet in person?
So for that one, it was online for my first half. I go in class tomorrow for that one.
Okay. So you guys are all online with the calculus. You haven't met in person?
It's an A-Day, B-Day thing.
Same thing as this. Someone else was saying, who was that?
That was me.
Go ahead.
We went, I had algebra yesterday.
Did y'all meet in person or did you meet online?
Yeah, it was in person. And then I had like history right after that, but it was a Zoom class. So.
Okay. How's it going? Going pretty smoothly?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I really don't know what to expect from this semester. I'll be honest with you. They want us to do face-to-face. I have no problem with that. We'll see how that works as soon as the first person gets sick and then we have to close down the class or whatever. But I've created this class to be 100% online, but we are required to meet Tuesday and Thursday. So we, as Francisco already mentioned, we got the AB system set up. So I've already posted that as far as how the class is split up. So 10 people will be meeting on Tuesday and 10 people will be meeting on Thursday. And we'll talk more about that before we're done. If you have a preference and you can switch with someone else that has your preference, I don't have an opinion about that. I think it would probably be best that we do that today as far as getting people where they know when they're supposed to show up, because one of the things that they ask us to do is make sure and take roll, and they want you to show up on campus at your assigned time. So this week, we're going to have the Zoom meeting, and then we're not going to meet on campus on Thursday, but then we'll get started next week as far as the Tuesday, Thursday AB. So, but like I said, this entire course, I have it online. So you'll submit all work digitally, the instructions, I even have lectures, everything's set up online. So if we do end up going 100% online, then there won't be any transition. And then also if I don't make any sense at all, maybe my recorded video will make a little more sense, or you can get more information or whatever you need to do. I don't plan to have any more Zoom meetings, so this is just the one to get us introduced. It's also what was approved by the college, so they said our first class could be Zoom. So it just seemed like the best thing to do before we get all the kinks worked out. How's the mask for my two people that said they were on campus yesterday? How'd the mask go? Was everyone wearing their mask, and were you guys socially distanced?
Yeah, we were supposed to wear a mask. Like, I don't even think they'll really let you in the building unless you have one. And the desks, they have like brand new desks. They're like not the ones from like last semester. And there's like colored dots on the carpet that are like 6 feet apart or whatever.
So you got to stand on your dot?
The desk is on the dot, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do they have a dot for me? Will I know where to stand?
I guess, I don't know.
I usually don't have a clue where to stand anyway. Okay. Okay, well, so you just remind me, I actually got to get over to Collin next couple of days. All right, so we're at 15, and I think I'm 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, this looks about right. So once again, I will be taking attendance, so it's something that unfortunately you have to pay attention to. The way that, so for me, I just need to see that you're there once a week. So if you're A person, you're there on Tuesday. If you're the B person, you're there on Thursday. If for some reason you have to miss, then I need to see that you've logged on and that you're participating. So that's that. Let me just go through a few things, and then if you have questions, I don't really have any reason to extend this out, but I will tell you, online classes can be really frustrating. So this is your opportunity to ask me questions and make sure that that what I have is clear. Like for instance, I teach a number of classes. I teach over at Tarrant County and I teach at Collin. I'm in the fine arts department over at Tarrant County. I teach design, art appreciation. I've been teaching for the past, I don't know, 8 years, I guess. So I've been doing this a little while. I'm a metal sculptor. I come to this with a passion for art, but I also understand that it's an elective. Most of you guys don't care about this particular class. Some of you don't even care about art. And that's okay. Matter of fact, it's more interesting to me. And when we're in face-to-face classes, it's more interesting, when you push back and say, Scott, that doesn't make any sense at all. Why would someone buy that? Or why do we call that art? And those are the interesting conversations, and we can have those all day long because that's what engages me. But really, this class is set up as just a drive-by to get a introduction to art periods, different artists, and that kind of thing. It's pretty simple. It's pretty laid back, and hopefully you'll leave with your eyes a little bit wider, better understanding of what art is, and maybe even change your perspective a little bit. And that's really my ambition for the course, and that's as high as my expectations are. So for those of you who haven't been on campus, when you attend the Tuesday, Thursday class, and our class is from 1 to 2:15, A264, it's on the second floor down in the Fine Arts building, just past the Recreation Center. You'll have to have a mask, and as was said, I guess they're monitoring that. You can't even come in without a mask on. We'll have masks on the entire time that we're there. And the desks will be placed apart, so we have 10 people per class. Did you guys happen to see, I think I put in the announcement, the list of the AB assignments. Did you guys see that? I'm seeing a lot of nods.
I received it.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
If you don't see it, if you haven't seen it and you don't see it after we get off this call, make sure and contact me. But I basically just split the class in half. There's no reason why you're one person's A or the next person's B. It was just the easiest thing to do. And like I said, if you do have an issue and it would work better for you to be Thursday instead of Tuesday, before we get off this meeting, put that out there, and we'll do that when we get towards the end, and then see if someone wants to switch with you, and we can do it right now as opposed to trying to do it via email or some other way. All right, so the way that I have the class set up is there's modules, and the modules are by week. And so I have a weekly assignments, and then within those modules are the individual assignments. And then even within the modules, there's a page that kind of describes what the tasks are for this week. Now, let me tell you this. I've heard that some of my stuff isn't consistent. So like, for instance, it just gets complicated quickly. So it seems like maybe what's on the task sheet in one module doesn't align with what's required. Everything's there. It's 95% organized and right. Evidently, there's about 5% of it that just doesn't make any sense at all. So you guys are lucky because you'll be in front of me at least once a week and you can say, hey, Trent, what's the deal? This doesn't make sense. But also, if you're doing it and it doesn't make sense, email me. I have the syllabus attached to this course. It has my contact information in there. The quickest way is use my personal email, but if it's any kind of official school business, please go through my strength@collin.edu email address. They want all official school business. So if you have grades or issues or anything like that, make sure and go through the Collin College. But sometimes I might respond to you if it's just a quick question through my personal email, because I have to switch back and forth and through the different ones. It's kind of a pain. You can also contact me through Canvas, and I also respond that way. I will always try to respond within 24 hours. So you might respond to me at the end of one day. It might be the next day before I get back to you. I'm usually on every day. in the syllabus, it also has my phone number. There's no reason that you really will need to call me. Um, uh, but you're welcome to if you have some kind of issue that you need to talk to me about. But I teach a lot of classes. I've taught for a few years now, and there's never a reason that you need to call me. You don't need to call to tell me that you're not going to be here. You don't need to call and tell me what your personal issues are. It doesn't really affect what I'm doing. We kind of have this contract where I just put out there, what you need to do to pass this class. You do it or you don't do it, and then I give you the grade. And that's really the way I approach it. And I will say this, and I say this as someone who teaches at a number of colleges, that whatever happens outside of in your personal life, it really doesn't have anything to do with your schoolwork. And that might surprise some of you thinking, oh no, like my car broke down or whatever. Like, it really doesn't. It's like you just do the work or you don't, and you get it done. And that doesn't mean that life doesn't get in the way, which is actually, I've always said that. And for the past 2 semesters, that's actually been a pretty powerful statement, because life does get in the way. And sometimes you're not able to complete the course or get the work done. And I say that with zero judgment whatsoever. I understand. My story is it took me 20 years to get my degree. And because, I'd go to school and I'd get bored or I'd get distracted by something else. I was always starting businesses. And, would I rather go listen to some short, fat guy talk about something I didn't care about, or would I rather go make money? And I always chose going and making money. And so it took me that long to get my degree. But once I got back and decided it was important to me, and that's what I wanted to do, then I ended up getting 3 degrees. So I ended up getting my PhD from the University of Texas at Dallas. But I didn't start back till I was 40, and I didn't finish my degrees until I turned 50. So believe me, I understand completely about life getting in the way, and sometimes you have the best intentions, but it doesn't always happen. So all of that is to say that you don't need to call and tell me why you're not in class. You don't need to call and tell me why you didn't do the work. Is what I do is I grade weekly, and I'll put a 0 in that space. And there's deadlines, like when I expect something to be done. And so, for instance, I think you guys have writing assignments. Yeah, you have writing assignments. There's hard deadlines in those. And that's primarily because I don't want to be grading 60 writing assignments at the end of the semester. So those have to be done by the deadline. There's other exercises where, if you turn them in late, you're not going to get full credit, but I'll give you partial credit on this. So it's just if I were you, I just always turn in the work. But at some point, with someone, I might say, sorry, you missed the deadline on this. So the best thing is not to have that conversation, not to check it out, not to test it, just do the work and do it on time. So basically, I look at everything. It's set up by a week, starts on Monday, ends Saturday night, and just get your work in, and then I'll have it graded, that following week for sure. But is what I was going to say. So I put a 0 in. A lot of times I'll put a 0 just because I'm going through and cleaning up the grade book. And if you haven't turned it in yet, don't email me and say, hey, Scott, why do I have a 0? I haven't turned this in yet. Just turn it in, and then I'll give you your grade. It's not that complicated. But the other thing is sometimes Canvas is a little bit quirky. So you might take one of the online quizzes or submit something that it doesn't show the grade that you deserve or that you're supposed to have. And let me know, I'll go and correct it. And I go through and check on the grade book often anyway, but I might miss something. So here's the most important thing for you to know is that I make a lot of mistakes. I've got a lot of different students, different classes, family, life gets in the way, right? So I'm going to make mistakes. I fully expect that. Just shoot me an email. We'll get it taken care of. So you make sure that I'm doing you right. Keep me straight and honest. Help me out if the class isn't making sense. Let me know, and I'll take care of things as quickly as possible. This class should be your easiest class. And I know that, and I want it to be that way. Now, if I ask you to do something, I want you to do it. But I don't ask you to do anything difficult. And if I ask you to do anything difficult, it's just to try to think a little bit differently sometimes. I do that because if I can make you think, my job's done. But this isn't rocket science. It's not engineering. It's not math. It's not even science. It's Art Appreciation. So I know that, and I just want you guys to show up, do the work, and maybe get a little bit different perspective on life in general. All right, so you can find links to my lectures. You can find assignments. So they're either in the modules, in the tasks page within the modules, and sometimes I'll put links in the announcements. So make sure and go through all the announcements so that you can see everything that's available to you. One other thing that's really important is for this test, there's a pre-test and a post-test. And that has nothing to do with your grade other than I want you to do it. And I will, if you don't do it, then you'll lose 100 points for the pre-test and 100 points for the post-test. But as far as a grade, they just do it to kind of gauge whether I'm teaching you anything. And honestly, I don't even know how to pass the test. So if at the end of the semester you still don't pass it, it's not going to have any reflection on me as far as I'm concerned, because I don't know what the heck they're asking for. But they want you to take it. So take the pre-test and take the post-test. I have the pre-test in the first module. It's just something you need to take. Just answer it as honestly as you can. If you don't know it, it's not a problem. Hopefully, maybe at the end of the semester, you'll know a few extra questions than you knew before, and they're going to think, man, that Trent, he's a great teacher. But if you're like me, you won't know anymore, and so then we're just in the same boat. But at least you got your 3 credits for Art Appreciation. All right, so let's see. Are there any questions that that maybe you want from me that that I'm kind of not answering right now?
Do we have any like exams, or will they be like online or in person? That's a big question.
Great question. Thank you. Yeah, I always forget that. So in class, I'm not really an exam person. I don't do it like that. I really just expose you to the information and then have you do exercises that practice it. Now, online, I've had to create things so that we can assess you. So there are quizzes. So for instance, I have all the lectures with every 3 lecture, there's a quiz that goes with it. Oh, and actually, so I'll come back and talk about the textbook in a second. But so that there's a quiz that goes with that. So that is online. I do have, trying to think for this class, I think I do have a final exam, but it's basically everything you've already done. So it's not anything that you really have to study for. If you just show up and do the work, then you'll have it. Writing assignments is probably the toughest thing that I've added to this course. And I do that because at Collin College, they usually say they want you to have a textbook. And I'll be honest with you, I hate textbooks. I just don't like textbooks. And part of the reason I don't like them is because they're very limited in what you can learn. They were written a year or 2 ago. They're by 3 or 4 people and their opinions. I hate the way art textbooks are arranged. It's like to answer one question, you got to read 3 chapters. I don't know why they can't just bullet point things. So I'm not a fan of textbook, and they're expensive. But I have writing assignments which require you to research. And so you're like, well, where do you research, Scott? Well, you can do it a couple ways. You can, one, get a textbook. Any art textbook is fine. They all have exactly the same thing in there. So get a second edition or, the first edition, and they're up to 15 by now. It doesn't matter. It's going to have the same stuff in there. And I used to, for the classes, go to Amazon and find a art textbook for a penny. Just like, hey, go get this from Amazon. Or maybe a friend or someone has one. You can use that. The required textbook is in the syllabus, and not required. I mean, recommended by the Fine Arts Department. And it is, you can find it, because I'm not finding it. Oh, it's Gateways to Art, Understanding the Visual Arts by DeWitt, Larman, and Shields. That's the one that they recommend. But even this semester, I don't think they're pushing that you guys go and get it, because it's a pain in the butt to have to go. I don't even know I guess the bookstore's open, but I don't know. So if you want to get it, that's the one you can get. You can get any edition, but you can also go online. So I'm answering in a very long fashion, sorry. You can go online, but here's the thing. you can't go to one source and say, okay, I've got it. Because, I mean, scholars use the internet all the time. It's a very powerful tool. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed that, but it's like really a nice resource. But you have to go to 3 to 5 different sources, and then you find the consistent information. That's how you know that it's true. If you just go to one, you don't know what you're getting. And so you're more than welcome to do that, but make sure that you know where you got your information from. I have gotten where I don't even ask you to cite your sources, because I have people that cite Google. Google is a platform, it's not a source. But anyway, so I look at what your answer is, and if it's uninformed and not very intelligent, then you don't get the points. So be smart, find the right information. And if you're not sure, then look at a number of places. Now, what I forgot to tell you is, and it's also in your syllabus, I'm looking at the syllabus, there's a link, and I think I have a link in the announcements to a workbook that I put with this course. All the answers are in the workbook to those quizzes, to final exam. They're all in there because I actually lecture from the workbook and put my notes in there, so you can get everything there. Matter of fact, you can finish the course just going through the workbook. And there's a PDF free copy of the workbook at the link that I've provided. So just go and get that. You can download it, or you can just go to it and reference it. So the workbook's pretty helpful. You know, I don't care if you get it. It doesn't benefit me in any way, but it's part of the course. And then one last thing I'll say is that in my lectures are from the past 5 years. And so, although I'm fat in all of them, I say different things in each one, you know, depending on what year it is. Sometimes my son will walk in and he was 3 at one time and now he's 6. So it's all over the place. But I know, like, for my initial art appreciation lectures, I reference the textbook and I actually give you the page. And if you have, I think it's the third edition. So if you want to follow along, you want to do it, you can get third edition. But like I said, it doesn't matter what textbook you have. And I was just referencing it in that. So it might not be accurate. And I think the workbook is consistent in the pages that I'm referencing, but it might not be. So you don't need to email me and tell me, hey, Scott, your lecture's wrong. The content's the same. But what I talk about, like, for instance, I know some lectures are at different semesters. And so that's not going to be right. I might be talking about that it's snowing outside, and it is not snowing outside right now. So I know, but it's just easier for me to use all those lectures and the different introductions, and because you get the information you need, but there might be some stuff that's not relevant. So hopefully that won't mess you guys up too much. Okay, what's some other questions that I haven't answered?
Do you require like a notebook, or do we do everything online?
Everything online.
Okay.
Matter of fact, with that, I don't know if you saw something around that. I used to have I used to get you a workbook, and then you turn in the workbook at the end of the semester, and I haven't done that in a while, about a year now. So, and especially with online, I can't really make that work. So you somewhere I might not have taken out that you turn the workbook in at the end of the semester, but you don't turn anything in. It's all online. What else?
So the first assignment, the find a classic work of art, and you find that with the workbook. Where's the workbook again?
There's a link, whether it's in the announcement or within that page, within that module. If you can't find it, then just email me. But there's a couple places that there's a link. It's actually collinart.com, and then you scroll through there and it's there. But I'm pretty sure I have that link in a number of places on the web page. And tell me, what was it in the workbook that you're looking for?
One of our first assignments. It's the find a classic work of art, classic artists listed on page 16 and 19.
Got it. Yeah, good. That's a good thing to look for, because in my lecture, I talk about classic art, and I will probably talk about it next week. But that helps you know what classic art is, because there's some of you might be artists and you might be really good, but I don't want us to study your art. I want us to study the art that we can consider classic works of art. What else you guys got for me? I missed somebody today that came in, and I'm not going to be able to find them now. But when I do attendance, if it shows up that it says you didn't attend today, make sure and email me and say, "Hey, Scott, I was there." So I make sure and get you. Like I said, this is something they want us to keep track of.
Yeah, that was probably me.
Who is that? Oh,
Liam Butler.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Excellent, got you.
All right, perfect.
Matter of fact, that's weird. It's that wonder why everyone except for one person on Team A is here, and about half the Team B are not here. They must have known they were B team. Got the whole A team here. All right, so let me talk. Well, I can do this when we meet. As far as the writing assignments, actually, let me say just a little bit about the writing assignment. I think I started to say this, I developed these writing assignments to justify having a workbook, because a lot of times I don't teach to the workbook. And so people are like, why did I just spend $80 or $120 or whatever it is for a workbook if you're not going to teach from it? So I created these writing assignments, and there's 5 topics, and I do have the due dates on those that are correct on the syllabus and in the announcement. And so there's like, what is art, light and color, art and illusion, sculpture, and performance art, conceptual art. So basically is what I want you to do is take that subject and go and research it and write a 1-page paper. But my preference is that you just bullet point. I don't want you to write a paper. One, because it's not an English class, and I have some people that are not very good writers, and I don't want to grade your writing or your spelling. I don't even want to grade your research ability. Once again, this is art appreciation. Some people need some work on that I'm not able to provide because I don't have the time to do that. And I don't want to send you to the writing lab and blah, blah, blah. So my preference is that you bullet point it, show me that you went and researched it, and you're answering 3 questions. So you define the term. So if it's like, what is art? The term is, what is art? So define that. And in this case, I do a lecture on what is art, but I need to see the research. Don't just write what I said. Write what I said plus what you go out and read. And I can always tell the people that don't view the lecture and don't do any research, because then they're like, art is what makes life beautiful and we can't live, it's like, okay, that's not what art is. So then I want you to summarize the chapter and the reading and the message that you read about that particular subject, and then give me 3 facts. And so there's 3 areas to it, and I want it only on 1 page. So I'm not looking for a lot here. I'm looking for details. I want to see that you did the research, but I'm not looking for a dissertation on this. So, and I realize sometimes it's more difficult to write abbreviated than it is to write long and drawn out. But it's kind of, find that place, find your happy place in this paper. Give me what I'm looking for. In every class, at first, you'll turn in something, and I'll give you a grade that'll kind of get you back online and show you what I'm expecting. But that's written in a couple places, and it tells you what I'm looking for in that. One other thing that'll come up is when there's a few class discussions that I have you guys do, and they'll always say, do your post and then comment on 2 other of your peers. And so there's actually 3 parts to it that you have to submit. In each one of those, someone's going to email me on this, but I'll say it again. On each one of those, it has to be 150 words. Now, 150 words is an arbitrary number. I'll admit it freely, but it's what I've found is that if you have to write 150 words, then it forces you to at least think and consider the question or respond something beyond, yeah, I agree with you. Good job. So once again, this class is primarily participation. And so 150 words is just a level of participation. Each post has to be 150 words, okay? It's not that much, especially if you have anything to say at all. It's hard to write under 150 words. So, but anyway, that's what I'm looking for. And sometimes I won't give you credit just because you didn't write the 150 words. So that's something I always look at. So for any class discussion or post like that, I'm expecting you to write at least 150 words. What else? That's all. I don't think I've missed anything that I wanted to tell you. What can I tell you that you guys want to know?
Could you repeat the link to that book that is for the homework?
I didn't give you a link. Is what I did say though is that if you go to maybe is what I think you can go to Collin Art COLLINART.com. That'll get you there. But also in the announcements and probably in the module, there's a link to the workbook. So there should be a link a couple places on the Canvas page. But then you can go to collinart.com. The only problem with that is I have a number of things listed on that page, so it might not be easy to figure out which one. But you guys are looking for the Art Appreciation Workbook, the Art Appreciation 1301 Workbook.
Yeah, I was looking in the announcements and I'm still having trouble finding it, but.
Did you scroll down?
I mean, was it posted years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, then I probably just didn't look at that.
Yeah, that and Liam, just to the point you're making. So what I did, and I've done it now a number of semesters, I'll just take a course and I'll
shift it forward,
copy them into the new course.
Okay.
So yeah, they could be a couple years old. And what I keep getting toasted on is that I don't really go through and read it after I've copied it in there. They're like, this doesn't make any sense at all. I'm like, oh crap, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. And then I have to go back and fix it. So I think you guys are working. I think it works pretty well. I have gone through a couple times, but I know I've missed stuff. And there are things that are going to be a couple years old, but it still works. It should work. I think that I mentioned that within the task of the modules, all the information you need are in those, but I don't know if they align with the different modules. So you'll need to look at that. You don't need that. Let me just say this. Please hear me on this. If you want to know what's due and what you have to turn in this class, go to the gradebook. Everything's listed in the gradebook, everything's there. The syllabus is up to date, so you can go and look in there. It has everything listed. And in an announcement, I have the list of things that are due for this course. So those are 3 places that I know I for sure have checked, that I know are accurate, and it can show you what's in this class. But if you're ever like confused or I've messed up on something, go to the grade book. If it's in there, it's going to be due. And I think I've even updated all the deadlines on those, so those should be accurate. But you guys, I guarantee you'll find one where I'm wrong, and that's okay. Please help me out because you're helping you out and the class.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. What else you guys got for me?
So do you recommend us use just the workbook or the textbook?
Do you have a textbook?
No, I haven't bought it yet. I'm like kind of wondering if I should.
Well, how are you on money? You got a lot of money?
Financial aid.
Oh, okay. Well, then go get a textbook. It doesn't matter. I mean, right? You got the money for it. But if you don't, then I would either get just an old edition of an art textbook just so you have something to reference, but you can do it online and the workbook is free. So if you're the type person that you're okay with going and getting the textbook, and matter of fact, you even like it, sometimes you might go back to it and use it, then go get a textbook. Absolutely, because your papers will be better for it and you'll have information that you can trust. If you don't feel like making the trip to the bookstore, you can get by doing internet research.
Okay.
Does that answer it, or was that just say everything and nothing at all?
No, that answered it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What else? All right, so it sounds, and holler in if you think, but it sounds like I'm gonna see most of you guys. Did anyone want to change from Tuesday to Thursday, Thursday to Tuesday while we're here?
Hey, I got a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
I had the water line in my bathroom exploded, so I like missed 5 minutes, and you were just starting to talk about I think it was something about essays or one of the things we did.
Yeah.
As soon as I came back, I heard bullet points. That's about it.
Well, person, let me, sorry about your water line. That's crazy. One, I'm recording this. As a matter of fact, I should have told you guys at the very beginning, so that's my bad. And two, so you'll have the recording, but I think what the summary of what you missed is that I want the writing assignment to be 1 page. Ideally, you bullet point it. There's 3 sections of it where you summarize, you define the term, summarize the information that you read, and give me 3 facts, random facts about that particular subject matter. And then the only other thing that's important to note is that I lecture on some of them, but some of them I don't. So when I lecture on it, that's fine. It gives you a little more understanding, but don't just comment on my lecture, add the research, or don't just rely on the research, because I actually will say things that you won't find in the research. So you need both, but the ones where I don't lecture on it, then you have to rely solely on the research. And one other thing, for those of you that do get textbooks, don't be frustrated. You have to read the full chapter to answer the question. It's like I said, art textbooks, they take pride in not answering questions directly. They answer them indirectly, and it takes you 30 pages to get the answer. So, and I'm okay with that. That's good. But just sometimes people say, oh, I couldn't find anything in my textbook about light. Well, like there's 20 pages on light. Don't tell me that. I know there is. So it just might not be easy to find, and you can't go back to the index necessarily and go straight to it. How's that? Did that person that sound like that took care of it?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, of course. So I was asking if anybody, and feel free to ask other questions, but so you guys are all good as far as Tuesday, Thursday? Okay, so most of you, well, I mean, 9 of you, I will see in person on campus a week from today. The people that are in Thursday, which we have 6 of you that are here right now, we're not meeting this Thursday. Don't go up to school. I won't be there. I don't know if I'll be there or not. Maybe I will be, because they'll be looking to see if I'm there. But you don't have to be there. But your next class meeting is a week from Thursday. And so the A team will be meeting every Tuesday and then doing everything else online. And the B team will be meeting every Thursday, and then they'll do everything online. You'll meet once a week. Our time slot is 1 to 2:15. I doubt we'll stay there the full time. Even when we're doing face-to-face, I'm bad about not staying the full time, because I don't need to sit in front of you guys if I'm not telling you anything interesting. So, what else?
I have a question. So on Thursday, are we going to have a Zoom session at all, or is it just going to be a once a week kind of thing for both A and B days?
That one. And Marv, yes, it's that one. No more Zoom, unless the campus gets closed down, and this is what we do. But so now we'll just go to a meeting on campus. Each group of 10 people will meet once a week. So whether you're Tuesday or Thursday, you'll just come that one day weekly. What's y'all's prediction? You think we'll make it through the full semester? Anybody?
I hope so. I like going in for classes, to be honest.
Yeah. And does anybody have any concerns about being on campus?
I mean, I feel like the professors are the most vulnerable because the age gap, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm an old guy. That's true.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to kill me. That's good. You've never had this
That's
before.
good.
Like, if you really hate the work, and you're like, I'm just going to kill Trent. What the heck? I've never thought about that. That's pretty good. You guys have power all of a sudden, finally.
That's one way to change a C to an A.
Yeah, like I really want to A. Like, okay, you got it. Cheers. Stay away. Weird thing about it, I think we've already had it in our house anyway, so it doesn't mean we're necessarily immune. But man, this thing's been going around, and I don't think we fully know how much it's been going around. All right, so if you need to contact me separately, like I said, you have my phone number, you have my email. If we need to do a Zoom meeting, you know, separately, one-on-one, that I'm available for any of that. I basically, as far as appointments, I put by appointment. So just contact me, say, hey, Scott, I need to talk, and you know, we'll set something up and make sure you get all your concerns taken care of. If there's no other questions for me, I have no need to sit here and stare at you guys anymore. It sounds like, so you guys have everything you need on Canvas, email with questions, and then I'll plan on seeing the first group next Tuesday and then the second group next Thursday. That sound good, guys? All right, well, we should have an interesting semester. You guys take care of yourself, be safe out there, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Have a good day.